welcome to Coach Dave Academy. This is Suellio Almeida. We're going to see my lap with the Porsche Cup at Mosport Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. We're going to see the entire lap and then we're going to talk about corner by corner. So going into this first corner, I figured out after lots of attempts that not hitting this curb is the safest way to get a super consistent exit. So you actually get on the extra camber here by staying off the camber, off the curb. Because if you do hit the curb, you get a little bit off camber. Sometimes it works. If you want to try it, I would say try to do it at the end of the curb. You try to hit this little area here. That would work. But if not, you can just stay on the camber during the entire moment here as close as possible to the white. I actually missed a little bit the white here. I still got a pretty decent exit by going back on power quite aggressively, straight to 85 to 90% and then back to 100 and just light hands letting the car going all the way to the exit here. Just make sure you don't really clip this grass, because if you clip either this part of the grass or this one here, you end up snapping to the right and hitting this wall here. And then the next corner is super off on a crest on entry, so you have to turn in very early. If you want to turn in late, the car is not going to respond because there's no grip, and then by the time you get on the grip, you're already super wide and you end up missing the first of this double apex here. So turn in very early, very light, feathering the brakes here. You're never going to be braking hard on this second corner. You brake a little bit, you try to clip, be as close as possible to this little gap here in the grass. This is my first apex, and then you want to actually get back on power on the first apex. I know it kind of doesn't make sense, but the thing is that on the first apex you're on a crest and you make most of the rotation here, because when you get back on power, there's so much grip that the car is just gonna glue on the track. And from the first apex, you go wide and then back a little bit and then all the way to the exit without having to lift the throttle anymore. And then for the next corner, just make sure you bring the car as early as possible here. There's no time to think in between these two corners. You bring it super early, and then you kind of do semi-hard braking initially, but then immediately starting to trail brake and trying to have the car more or less over this right edge of this concrete patch here. I don't know if it's concrete or not, but it's this little patch here gives you a nice reference, because it's you don't have a lot of references here. You don't have like a braking reference or anything, so you can just look at this little patch that they made, and then that gives you a nice, you can just follow that inside right line. That gives you a nice idea of the line. And then also you want to get back on power quite early, and then just let the car gently go to the outside. Don't panic. It's very easy to end up trying to bring the car a little bit too much to the right, even though the corner is actually opening radius, so it gets easier and easier as you go towards the exit. Here you don't necessarily need to use this curb. Like I said, the limit is kind of here. This is where the corner, let's say it's over, and then from there you're just like cruising on that curb. Then here you do have to bring the car to the right, because this is not flat out on this car. So you want to turn in a little bit before the bridge. I basically look at the shadow of the bridge as a reference, more or less, And then as soon as I turn in, you start seeing this little curve here. And then that tells me where the car is. You want to miss a little bit this first part, but you want to kind of hug the inside and then a little bit of lifting here to really clip this inside and make the car as much as you can to the left so you can set up the hairpin. It's quite difficult to really stay all the way to the left here, and I tried many ways to lift more and have the car even more to the left, but it ended up making me lose a little bit too much time. So I think there is somewhere a sweet spot in between overly sacrificing this one and sacrificing the entry for the hairpin. And very hard braking here because we're going up on a compression, and then as you feel the car is stopping, you already want to cherry brake quite early. There's a lot of compression here, but after this, say, first apex, the car goes on a crest, and it's going to start falling to the left. Here, it's very dangerous it's very easy to just overshoot this entry, and then when you get on the crest here, there's absolutely no grip, and you go off to the dirt here. So you can see, I let the car, I know it's falling all the way to the outside, but I want to go all the way to the outside because I have to set up the best exit possible, because you're going to have a very, very, very long straight after this. And then smash the power, a little bit light hands to prevent oversteer to the right here, and then just make sure you don't really clip too much this grass to prevent loss of traction. And then from here, just harvest that exit speed for a long time. Then we go for the last sector. You want to brake very lightly here. As you can see, I'm braking initial brake to maximum 50%, but then I'm already braking super light, just trail braking, trying to stay a little bit to the inside. This is kind of a double apex. First apex is very early, so you turn in early, you hit the very beginning of this curve, then the car is going a little bit wide, then you're already coming back for the second apex, get back on power on the second apex, and then here, you don't have to bring the car all the way to the right here. You want to bring it more or less, let's say, 3/4, and then at that 3/4 place, you change direction and trail brake again, aiming for the end of this curb here again. And then from there, you bring the car as much as you can to the left, and then change direction again with a little bit of trail braking to set the best exit you can, because this is going to count for the end of the lap and for the beginning of the next lap. And then also same thing, there's not a lot of grip on this exit, so get back on power and then kind of relax your hands, let the car a little bit flow to the outside, and you get a little bit of this curb here. Also same thing, make sure you don't really get the grass here because it's very, very sketchy. So that is it. That time was a 1:17.5. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you next week.